Okay, so I have been having a super rough time lately. It is I wouldn't say gorgeous, but it's a very bright and cheerful day outside. My hair is really bothering me, but I am going to ignore it the very best that I can. Um, I was told when I was little that while I was being sexually violated, that that I was a pretty little dancer and that I was such an adorable little thing, that I was so cute and strong and beautiful, and that they loved me. That they couldn't help themselves, they loved me. Now, I have a very literal brain, but I think even without the very literal brain that I possess, that any child would take those words in a way that would cause damage to themselves. And I just really want to say more about sexual abuse not being my fault and it not being your fault. Sometimes, to a degree, depending, it's not even the fault of the person who does the sexual abuse. Sometimes they really can't help themselves because they're really that messed up and they need to be known and recognized and locked away, no matter how nice they are in other situations or settings. If a person does not have the self-control to ensure that they are not doing something to someone else's body without consent, especially when that child is not even capable of coming close to understanding the word consent, you don't have enough self-control, then you ought to be locked away, at the very least. Love and safety and trust and whatever got really, really, really warped in my world. And the events that occurred thereafter did not help me be healthy. I did not receive the assistance that my body and mind required. It was then that I already had an opinion about adults, that they were, everybody is in pain, nobody is talking about it. Even when they do talk about it, people aren't, listening or supporting each other. Like, everybody's pretending that they know what they're doing and nobody knows what they're doing. This is all a big, giant, made-up weirdness. But I didn't judge anyone because of it. I just felt for everybody. I didn't know how to voice and verbalize things, but I began working on it, and I knew what I was here to do. I knew who I was. Then this main event occurred, and I did not receive the help that I needed, and my mind did not it put me into a whole new category of thought. And that was that not only do adults not know what they're doing, but they're not, to be trusted in any way, shape, or form. Not even when I, become an adult. When I became an adult, actually, I went through a major cognitive dissonance experience. It's like, oh crap, I'm 30. I can't deny anymore. I am an adult. And it was very, very, very hard for me. I had to go through a huge, learning how to love myself process. So sorry. Totally drinking golden milk, and I haven't brushed my teeth yet today, and so my tongue is yellow and my teeth are gross, and I care, but I don't care. You know what I mean? So it's a miracle that I'm alive. It's a miracle I've been able to have children. It's a miracle I've had any functioning relationships whatsoever. Love was tainted. I really believed it was my fault. I really believed that if I wasn't so nice and bright and shiny, things wouldn't have happened the way that they happened. And, I never developed multiple personalities or anything, or at least none that all the, therapists and psychologists that I've been to over the years have ever been able to ascertain. And I've never been, accused of that. I've been told that I'm crazy and delusional and all this stuff, which I just keep taking to the healthcare professionals and the mental health care professionals, and definitely not crazy, and I'm not delusional, and whatever else. But I was fractured to a degree, not with multiple personalities and whatever, but major amounts of compartmentalization and disconnect, and very good at deflecting so that I could maintain focus. And my course of being the best possible person that I could be, and making sure that I didn't do to anyone else what was done to me, and I still, I failed my children in not recognizing the red flags of my second husband early enough to prevent, which I've discovered as human beings, we're actually not capable of preventing anything and everything. I mean, we're capable of, for the most part, ensuring that we do not perpetuate a certain type of abuse, but we have not only do we have no control over other people, but we have no way of absolutely 100% guaranteeing that we will always see the bad things coming and be able to stop it before it happens. Sometimes the bad thing is hidden so well it manages, to strike and cause damage before it can be, uprooted and dealt with, locked away, whatever. It's not my fault. And it's not your fault. When we're sexually abused, whether we're a child or an adult, male or female, it causes damage. It causes damage. And that damage lasts a lifetime. Regardless of whether we find someone to fully support us and gain the assistance that is required or not, it lasts a lifetime. But if and when we don't give up and we keep seeking safe spaces and we keep walking away from things that don't feel good and safe as soon as we possibly can, I believe that it can be, managed and mitigated. The damage doesn't have to be completely destructive. But it's so important that we, I have told myself it's not my fault a handful of times over the years. But more often than that, I've done everything I can just to ignore and deny the reality of what has occurred to me and how much damage it actually caused. So now I need to spend even more time than I ever have before loving and accepting myself the way that I am now, the way that I have been in every moment, and the way that I will be in the future that is partly in my control and partly not. I mean, we do the best that we can under the circumstances. Obviously, some people do the best that they can to be selfish, greedy, destructive jerks. But I really believe those people are few and far between. Most people do the best that they can. But just because most people do the best that they can doesn't mean that we need to continue making excuses for the people who cause damage. I told myself my whole life that nothing was anyone else's fault because they didn't mean to. And I was the only one who had any power or control in my life. I'm the cause and the matter, as Landmark Education likes to teach. And many people like to teach that in one way or another. So I took full and complete responsibility and accountability. And in some ways, that's great. And in other ways, it's a real disservice to myself and everyone else. What if I had been willing to talk about things more? What if you had? What if we do now? What if we just talk about it whenever we feel the need to, for our own sake? Who cares about people's responses? Consider the source. If people are going to give you and me crap for having gone through sexual abuse and needing to talk about it, are they really worth our value and respect? I don't think so. I don't know exactly where I was going when I started this, but I know that I'm done now because it's 15 minutes.